I am going to try to wipe a bug out of my eye. Right? I don't think I'm gonna. I don't really have editing skills, so this ain't coming out of here. Holy cow! This humid weather, It feels like I'm wearing a wool sock with this humidity, and the heat is coming in and out. I wanted to cover something, actually two, three subjects all at once. One of them is going to be hooking up these tachometers to these older trucks. I got one of those cheapo tachometers from, I think I got this on Amazon or eBay. I got that critter, okay? And they gladly sell you this stuff, even Summit. Summit will sell you a tachometer up to $300, $400, $500. I'm just figuratively, I'm making that up. I do not. I got to get a tripod actually. Uh, I can't see the back. This camera, my other camera is getting repaired. This one doesn't have the swing out where I can actually see that I'm in a viewfinder. So uh, it's just been it's been a summer of catastrophes. I have to show you something else that happened, but do want to show you guys how to hook up a tachometer. Okay, even if you don't know where the pulse wire is, you're going to pull your hair out thinking you're going to wreck the tachometer. 9 chances out of 10, if you do what I'm telling you to do, you're not going to wreck the tachometer. And it's very dark inside this engine compartment. I'm a very incomplete boob when it comes to making videos, but here was my method on finding the pulse wire. Was one of these picks. It's a Stanley pick. And it's the blue wire on these Ford 300 inlines. At least on this one, it is. Okay? I called Summit. You know, they'll gladly sell you something for any amount of money. They don't give a shit what they sell you. Having any instructions, any type of intuitive information that comes with it, like how to seek out maybe a pulse wire, because I really didn't wreck the tachometer. But it comes to things things happen in your life. You have other things on your mind, like I do today. It's not the most comprehensive video I'm ever going to make. I worked my tail off with my son yesterday. His Dodge Dakota let him down. It needs a lot more than he ever thought, just like everybody else that brings something here. And, oh, this guy told me it was good. They put it up on the lift. And I get here and I said, you told me all this stuff is good. Now they don't want to pay you because they have how many thousands of dollars they gave you in material. And then I got to buy groceries the next week and they don't want to pay me. So my son just went through the same thing. And it's his brother-in-law that did it to him. I hate to say it was a family member that did it to a family member. But he told him all the brake lines were replaced. The spring hangers were replaced. We got that bed off, and it was like good mother of all creatures. And I knew just by looking at the truck. And then it was like there was like 2 quarts of oil in the freaking oil pan. So I put oil in the truck, and he's saying how good the motor was. It only has how many miles on it. Well, he was killing mosquitoes all across the field here. So these are the things that kids do to your own children. So I don't mean to speak of that, but getting like to insurance companies and sleazy things going on. I had a calamity the other day. I checked this truck up and down before I took it out. It has new wheel nuts. I don't know if you caught that in the frame. I don't care if you did. It has new wheel nuts on it. Let me get you back on the tripod and explain what happened. I'm going to come down to things. I have comprehensive, I have collision, I have all the whistles and bells on my insurance. I've had one claim with what happened to my other vehicle down there at AutoZone. They didn't cover it. The second scary thing that I'm going to tell people about that is happening to people like me, I was starting to get eerie phone calls 2 weeks ago about selling my house and things would happen to me. I got news for people. Nothing better happened to me because I'm going to find out who you are. I don't care if you call with an anonymous number I can't trace. I'm going to find out who you are because I got a good inclination who it is because I just got new neighbors. So they don't speak it English, and I'm getting threatening phone calls about selling my property. I'm going to tell them something. I got news for you. I'm not selling my property. I'd ordinarily, you say call the police. Well, They're worthless, and we have this democratic shit, whatever's going on. Somebody is burning a clutch that went by, and I'm talking like it should be on fire by now. And it was not brakes. I know the difference between brakes and a clutch. They smell very similar, but they're very different. So whatever the hell went through here, I mean, it wasn't making any noise, but it was while the video's running here, something went through, and it is burning clutch big time. So now, getting back to insurance companies. Allstate, Geico, Progressive, and now it hit USAA and two or three other ones, even nationwide. If you got to fix your house, you got to fix your car. Don't be paying the premiums for collision. Most of the times when you have collision, the loan company, the bank or whatever, when you borrow against the car, then the car will get fixed because the bank has a loan against it and they want their money. But if your car's paid off and you have collision, but I mean, say there's people, they pay off 3-4-year-old cars. They make a good dollar, and then they want to buy something else, and it gets hit. The insurance company's not going to cover you. And even property loss. My other son-in-law, my daughter moved back here to Pennsylvania, and they had a storm damage incident. We had some really wicked storms just the last couple of days. So anyway, I called the insurance company about the damage because I used to be a contractor, and I still have a license. I mean, I could still work if I wanted to, but I don't want to even get involved in it anymore. If it's a family member, I probably will. And this is the problem why I don't get paid and I end up in conflicts. You could end up in handcuffs here in Pennsylvania. Depends on what's going on. Maybe a lien against you or a judgment or something. That did happen to me because I'm not going to fool with this shit no more. Anyway, his insurance company told him it wasn't storm damage, it wasn't related, but it was. And that's the way it is with the insurance right now. So if you have any of those major insurance companies and you're paying homeowners, just take that premium that you're paying to them every month and put it in the goddamn bank. Don't pay it to them, okay? They're getting a lot of claims because of these fires and this vandalism and burning down cities. Use your head, people. They're going broke, the insurance companies. Put your money in the bank or in a separate account that can't be touched. Put family members' names on it, that if something happens that you get in some legal bind or whatever, they can't get it, into your bank. That's what's going to happen here, because I see the handwriting on the wall with this communist administration. They're out to bankrupt a guy like me. And to have one of these creepy crawlers calling me to sell my house and threatening me, that is another disgusting thing. So Holly Ann did lose a wheel, but she's all back on 4 wheels. All it did was that scuff, and I can't believe that. But this thing is built like a battleship. I made those previous videos about Holly Ann, how well built this truck is. I'm pretty sure if I got hit by a semi in this goddamn thing, I'd survive, because it's made out of some real metal. And not to mention all the welding and fabrication. I have mounts that are stronger. It's thicker metal. That 26 gauge that I use, the galvanized, and then I actually have a 20. I went to a 24, a heavier 24. It's thicker. It's almost as thick as the 26, but it really has a binding nature that when you cut it and you weld to it, it really sticks nice even to older metal. So I'm getting that up the shop, and I got to find out what they call that, because he had to bend me stuff out of this, and he says to me, Dutch, it's a little bit more money, and it's just because it's a different metal. Well, I don't really give a shit, because I had a project and I had to put it together. But I got the metal, and like I said, welding that to older rusty steel is better than the regular stuff that I buy. The only thing is, every time something's bigger, better, it's more expensive, and that was where that turned out to be. So that is a 4th of July video that there were a lot of people that fought and died for this country. I would have given my life at one time, not anymore, and that's why I tell my children, my grandchildren, don't go in the United States military, because it's a bunch of worthless turds. It's like throwing darts with your eyes closed with this administration. This administration is disgusting. They are totally disgusting and offensive, especially the flying aces like my grandfather was. My father, he might not have been the best destroyer, skipper, and gunny sergeant that he got busted down to. As far as I'm concerned, he was the worst gunny sergeant because he tried more of it at home, I guess. Don't really know about that. That's kind of one of those things that's just a family enigma when you have a gunny sergeant for a dad. But anyway, when you work with people, you work with people. You're all one people. You don't try to divide your country like Joe Biden's doing. It's my 4th of July message. You don't divide people, and you especially don't favor another person, because what's happening is the Hispanics and some of the blacks, they're getting loans for stuff that you wouldn't necessarily get a loan for. And it's been a game, Wells Fargo and the other one, and Bank of America. And then there's the other one. I think Chase was doing it now. You're a minority, you're a loan priority. You're somebody else, you're just a regular citizen. You don't need the money. You know, they turn their back on you. You want to create an alternate economy underneath an economy. I think the Confederacy tried that, but Joe Biden wants to play like he's not the race baiter here. You know what? Don't blow smoke up my ass and tell me to fucking, you know, his sun's shining. Things like that, it's very heartfelt when I see a country being taken over by an administration that is that disgusting, that foul, to do things like that. Make people believe in Santa Claus, debt relief. Nobody else gets their goddamn debts relieved, do they? So, take it from me. I did find the signal wire there on that truck, and I did have a calamity, and I just wanted to let people know publicly that if something happens to me, I am getting threatening phone calls. Do I feel comfortable calling law enforcement? In my past experience with the law enforcement in this area, I'd rather call Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck about it. So I'm going to tell them, I'll let my family know, and I'm actually going to try to call. I have the state senator's office, because I'm going right back down there, because like I said, I think I know where this stuff is originating. And there was a process to how this happened. So anyway, I don't want to sound like I'm drunk. The heat here, like I said, it's like wearing a wool sock, and I'm not thinking straight, sweating bullets. It just cooled off. The sun went in, but when that sun's coming out, it's like a blowtorch when it comes out. But that's all part of lighting fires all over and drying up every lake and tributary in the world. That's what you get. Okay, it ain't global warming. It's changing the dynamics of the planet is what they're doing, and we are going to have one vicious winter here in the Northeast. I don't even want to think about this winter. I'm going to be glad for this beast come wintertime. All right, guys, I got a truck to finish. I got to tidy up the wiring and stuff in there. But I was glad to find that signal wire. I was glad to show you a classic hillbilly maneuver, how we find signal wires. And I did not wreck the tachometer. It still works, so I'm anxious to hook it up, and now I have a working tachometer. It's the rest of the work that I got to do to tidy up the wires, and I do have a whole bunch of other work, the finished work. This thing is just rough together. It was a project. It does run, but I don't want to take it out on the road. There's loose this, loose that, and not to mention somebody loosened my wheels, which is something I would never do. I've never lost a wheel on a vehicle. I can't say that. When I was a kid, somebody loosened a wheel on a Pontiac Le Mans back in, the 80s? All right, guys. That's it. And take what I'm saying about insurance companies. They're not paying money. They're not paying what they need to do. It's the most disgusting thing that's going to happen to people. And that's why I just spit. This wildfire smoke is choking me. I have no other thing to tell you, but put your money in your pocket. Put it in a bank account. Put your family's name on it. Something happens to your house or your car, at least you got a few bucks. God bless America. My 4th of July message.